You know, for centuries, a powerful secret has been hiding right out in the open, carved into ancient stone. It's a code, really, just waiting to be cracked. And today? Well, today we're going to be the ones to break it.
So what if I told you that this structure, the Buddhist Stupa, it looks simple, right? But what if I told you it's actually a brilliant piece of communication, a secret code, designed to transmit these profound ideas without using a single written word?
All right, let's just dive right in. When you see a question like this, it can feel, well, a little dry, maybe a bit academic. It looks complicated, doesn't it? I mean, how can simple folk art possibly explain something as deep and complex as philosophy?
But here's the thing, it's not nearly as tough as it looks. In fact, today I'm going to give you the master key, a super simple three-part formula to unlock this ancient code and reveal the absolute genius hidden inside. You ready?
Okay, so first we have to really understand the core problem here. You've basically got a clash of two completely different worlds. On one side, you have this earthy, popular folk art, and on the other, you've got this abstract, super complex Buddhist philosophy.
Let's break it down. Over here on the left, we've got all these familiar folk motifs, tree spirits, water creatures, stories people have been telling for generations. Then, on the right, you have these huge abstract Buddhist ideals, things like renunciation, compassion, the cosmic law of dharma. So, how on earth do you connect these two? It seems almost impossible, but it's not.
And that brings us to the very first part of our formula, hacking local symbols. Seriously, think of it like taking a popular internet meme that everyone gets and then giving it a completely new, much deeper meaning. The early Buddhists were absolute masters of this.
So let's take the lotus flower. For centuries in India, everybody understood the lotus. It was a common, powerful symbol of purity, of beauty, and of life that grew right there in their own ponds. It was familiar, right?
Now here comes the hack. Buddhist artists took that familiar meaning and just layered something profoundly philosophical right on top of it. The lotus now represented enlightenment, this idea of something pure and beautiful rising unstained from the muddy, messy waters of our everyday world. Same symbol, totally brand new depth.
And this was their whole strategy. It wasn't a one-off. Those local tree spirits, they were reimagined as protectors of the sacred stupa. A tree that people worshipped? Well, it became the Bodhi tree, the symbol of ultimate enlightenment. They were literally speaking the local visual language, but delivering a completely new, transcendent message.
All right, let's move on to the second part of our formula, and you'll see how this all builds. They used stories as a Trojan horse. If the symbols were the vocabulary, then the stories were the grammar. They took tales everyone already knew and loved and just packed them full of Buddhist virtues.
I mean, this quote from our source material just nails it. By carving these popular folk tales and Jataka stories onto the stupas at places like Sanchi and Bharhut, they made these huge abstract teachings incredibly relatable. This wasn't some boring lecture. This was entertainment with a serious purpose.
And yep, there was a clear formula to it. You start with a story everybody already knows. Then you introduce a really tough moral choice. You show the hero, who's often a past version of the Buddha, making a compassionate, selfless decision. And then, boom, the story now perfectly illustrates a core Buddhist virtue like self-sacrifice or kindness. So clever. But here it is, the final, and honestly the most mind-blowing piece of this whole puzzle. It wasn't just the art on the stupa. The building itself was the message. The architecture was a literal blueprint of the entire cosmos.
Just look at this breakdown. You see that square railing on top? That's not just a decoration. It represents the abode of the gods. The path you physically walk around it? That symbolizes the endless cycle of existence we're all in. Even those umbrellas stacked on top represent different levels of consciousness you can achieve. So when you walked around a stupa, you were taking a physical journey through the entire cosmos. It was meditation in motion.
So when you put all three parts of our formula together, the hacked symbols, those Trojan horse stories, and the cosmic architecture, you get something, well, something truly extraordinary. A genius-level synthesis.
It was a perfectly unified system of communication. The symbols were the words. The stories provided the context. And the architecture, that was the entire worldview, all laid out. Every single element worked together completely seamlessly. So this wasn't just art. This was a completely new language,
A way to teach the highest, most complex truths, not through texts that most people couldn't read, but through images and actual experience. It was, quite simply, visual dharma.
And that's why it was pure genius. It took these incredibly complex ideas and made them accessible to absolutely everyone, whether they could read or not. It didn't try to erase the local culture, it harmonized with it, creating this powerful and lasting communication tool. It was a total masterclass in blending ideas together.
So it kind of makes you wonder, right? The next time you see an old building or a company logo or even just a meme on the internet, ask yourself, what's the code here? What's the deeper message hiding in plain sight, just waiting for me to unlock it?
Hey, if this explainer opened your mind just a little bit, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because we are cracking codes just like this every single week. Thanks for watching.